Okay, so the question is, why am I doing this? And the dogs might bark, but ni modo, it is what it is. That's what porch time gets you, right? So why am I doing this? Why now? What do I hope changes in me? So why now? Why now? I discussed that a little bit in my I realized I can't heal video, but so somewhere in 2025, uh, I got a reading from a uh, practitioner, a hoodoo practitioner, and within minutes of getting on with me, she said, "Oh my God, I feel like I know you." I'm like, "No, I don't think we've ever met before." She's like, "No, you have something to say. So you need to get on YouTube, like fast. And it doesn't even matter what you talk about. You need to talk about something, uh, but people need to hear something that you have to say." And then, fast forward about 6 months, I was taking an astrology class and I was having a session with a woman who specializes in astrology around your career and also your purpose. And like two separate things, but they can coincide, right? Like a Venn diagram. And she hilariously told me, so my the way my Chiron and my Mercury are placed, it meant that I'm perfectly made to work with people who have experienced trauma and I have to communicate about it. And then she was saying that the timing of it all meant that uh, I was coming into a place where I should be teaching about what I know. And then she said, I'm thinking that YouTube would be the best way because that's so mercurial, right? It's so Gemini, like just discussing it all for the people, right? And then we talked about how we're coming into a time of Aquarius, and that's very collective, so this would be just perfect. So, if you're new here, if you don't know me, my name is Christiana. Call me Dianana. I've spent the last 26 years of my life being a confidential victim advocate. I'm a certified yoga teacher, I'm a Reiki master, I practice auricular acupuncture. Um, I'm a registered, unlicensed psychotherapist. I'm an ordained minister. I've worked on research projects for community based responses to violence. Um, and I can't think of the other things, but for the last 30 some years, I've dedicated my life to uh, finding ways to heal and working with survivors of violence. I come from a long line of survivors, and so a lot of those survivors have been myself or my people. So, back to why now? Uh, so, the astrologer was telling me basically what the hoodoo reader had been telling me about 6 months before then. And so I started like formulating some kind of plan, thinking about it. But because I'm also neurodiverse and multi passionate and multifaceted, I could think of 1,000 different things a day that I could talk about. And I started and stopped and started and stopped. But all the while I was doing my research on the YouTube streets. So fast forward, I started watching a person named Renee Coakley, and I loved her messaging. And I loved watching her, and I looked forward to every time she posted something. Um, and there was this one title that said, like, every woman should have a YouTube channel, or every woman should be saying this. And that's so aligned with my whole life working with survivors that so much of healing and reclaiming as a survivor is finding your voice, right? And using it, and deciding what you're going to say, when, where, and how. So fast forward again, and I was talking to an intuitive because I was stuck on all the different ideas and what have you. And she was really clear. She's like, look, your guides are saying that, they've told you this before, and that it's your time to teach what you know. That yes, it's about healing, but it's also very much about curanderismo and the the practices, right? Um, and more so like the spiritual practices, the energetic practices. And so that's why I'm doing this now. Because also in my own readings and my own discussions with my ancestors and my guides, like I heard them very clearly say, like, you are not taking action on what we are guiding you. And so I have to do that, right? I have to do that if I want to advance. And I don't have to. It's not like you must, thou shalt, because as we discussed in another video, the power of choice and having options is empowering, right? That's reclaiming. That's magic. And so using my own power of choice, using my own power of will to do this, yeah. So here I am. I'm a few days behind the rest of my cohort in recording and posting, but it's okay. I've spent some time like under the surface doing some root work for myself and figuring out certain things about my voice, my message, setting some things up for myself. And so here I am, running fast, trying to catch up with my crew, and yeah. And so, what are things that I hope changes for me? So, what do I hope changes in me? I hope that just as the sculptor says that they remove all the things that don't belong, uh, and leave the things that are meant for that particular sculpture. That's what I hope to get out of this, right? I want to really hone and clarify and make fine my message. Um, I want to really get into the next iteration of my purpose. And interestingly enough, like, I want community. I just spent a good decade or so of my life really looking for community. And because it was all around professionalized, internalized oppression, myself and all the other workmates, um, I walked out with like almost virtually no community. And after a time of, uh, being on my own and doing some of my shadow work, yes, I hope to find my virtual community out here and solidify my place in this next chapter of doing the work. So, anyway, uh, yeah, that's why I'm doing this. So, thank you very much. This is Tia Nana. Thank you for our coffee talk. Abrazos. TTFN.